The pyramid texts, King Unas's pyramid, introduced the pyramid texts, the first extensive religious spells carved to ensure royal resurrection. These inscriptions offer our earliest written glimpse into the complex funerary beliefs that defined Egyptian spirituality. The sun cult of Ra. The 5th dynasty saw the sun cult of Ra reach unprecedented dominance, leading kings to build open-air sun temples at Abu Ghurab. Centered around symbolic obelisks, these sanctuaries allowed the sun's rays to directly touch stone altars to maintain cosmic order. Expanding bureaucracy, state bureaucracy expanded as high offices were increasingly filled by non-royals based on merit and loyalty. This diversification of the elite helped stabilize the growing complexity of the Egyptian state. The land of Punt. Ambitious maritime expeditions reached the land of Punt, returning with precious incense and exotic myrrh trees. These ventures highlight Egypt's sophisticated seafaring capabilities and desire for luxury goods. Mining and military campaigns in the Sinai secured vital copper and turquoise resources while protecting the empire's borders. Images of the king smiting enemies served as both political propaganda and a statement of divine protection. Village life. Most Egyptians lived in humble mud brick farming villages along the Nile, clustered on high ground to avoid annual floods. Narrow, shaded lanes between the houses provided a reprieve from the intense desert heat. Life on the roof, flat rooftops, served as vital living spaces where families dried fish, mended nets, and slept during sweltering nights. The roof was a practical extension of the home, offering relief from the cramped rooms below. Household interiors. Typical homes were furnished simply with woven mats, low stools, and clay jars for water and beer. A family's most prized possessions might include a few copper tools or a single linen garment for festivals. The Nile calendar. The Nile River acted as a living calendar, governing planting, travel, and the rhythm of life across the two lands. Its rise and fall were the pulse of Egyptian civilization. Inundation labor. During the annual flood, the untillable land allowed the state to divert the workforce to infrastructure projects and monument building. Workers received rations in exchange for this tax-through service, ensuring survival during the non-growing season. Sowing the silt as floodwaters receded, they left fertile silt that farmers immediately plowed using oxen. Seeds were scattered by hand and then trodden deep into the moist earth by animals to protect them from birds. Private gardens near their homes, families hand-watered small plots of onions, leeks, and medicinal herbs. These gardens provided essential nutritional variety to a diet otherwise dominated by grain. The harvest. The harvest required rapid, communal action using flint-edged sickles before the dry season took its toll. Afterward, animals trampled the stalks on threshing floors to separate the kernels. Grain storage survival depended on storing the harvest in mud brick granaries protected from moisture and pests. A successful harvest meant stability, while a poor yield signaled impending hardship. Tomb art as record, vibrant scenes in noble tombs provide a photographic record of ancient technology and labor. While religious in intent, these carvings capture the daily reality of tilling, reaping, and herding. The barter economy operating without coined money, the economy measured wealth in grain and paid wages in bread and beer. This system required massive administrative effort to track the movement of goods nationwide. The foundation of bread was the literal foundation of every meal, produced in various grades for both laborers and the elite. It served as a dense, reliable source of nutrition that was easily rationed. Nutritious beer. Ancient beer was a thick, malty brew that was often safer to drink than contaminated river water. It provided the essential calories and vitamins necessary for heavy physical labor. Industrial production, massive state bakeries and breweries at Giza and Saqqara produced thousands of loaves and vats daily. These installations prove the high level of centralized planning achieved during the Pyramid Age. The cost of diet grit from stone ground flour and desert sand caused significant dental wear and painful abscesses across the population. Many mummies show teeth worn down to the gums from a lifetime of coarse bread. Supplemental livestock families kept poultry and goats for occasional milk, meat, and eggs, though these were often reserved for special events. The variety of a family's diet depended on their industriousness and proximity to the river, the bounty of the marshes. The Nile marshes provided a steady supply of fish and wildfowl for those with hunting skills. These resources added necessary protein to a carbohydrate-heavy diet. The scribes' role educated scribes with a human infrastructure of the state, meticulously recording every bushel of grain and hour of labor. Their scrolls kept the complex machinery of government functioning. Scribe status, years of schooling in complex scripts, created a self-perpetuating elite class that managed the nation's wealth. This profession offered social prestige and a life of relative comfort compared to manual labor. A literacy network, scribes across the country monitored flood levels and ensured the pharaoh's orders reached even distant districts. This network of literacy allowed the central government to maintain control over a vast landscape. The rise of nomarchs, local administrators, or nomarchs, eventually amassed enough wealth to build grand tombs in their own districts. This shift in burial patterns signaled a growing independence from the central capital. Pervasive religion. Religion served as the framework for understanding the world, with deities believed to control everything from health to harvests. Rituals were not separate from life, but were the means by which it was sustained. Personal devotion. Common people left modest offerings at local shrines and sought protection from household gods like Bes. These personal devotions were as central to daily life as grand royal ceremonies. The unified afterlife. The hope for an afterlife crossed all social boundaries, making every Egyptian feel part of a divine cosmic order. Even the humblest graves contained food and personal items for the final journey. Preservation in sand. The dry desert sands naturally preserved the remains of the poor, maintaining a physical link between the living and the dead. These simple burials reflect a profound commitment to the idea that life continued after death. Windows into the past. Ironically, the grand tombs of the wealthy provide the best evidence of the lives of the poor through detailed scenes of daily labor. These images were intended to ensure that the services of laborers continued in the afterlife. The human element tomb art reveals families gathering for feasts, children playing, and musicians performing on harps. These scenes suggest that the fundamental values of family and stability have remained unchanged for millennia. The social contract, Old Kingdom stability, relied on the pharaoh maintaining ma'at, or cosmic balance, in exchange for labor and taxes. As long as the Nile flooded and crops grew, the system was perceived as successful. Fraying authority. By the 6th dynasty, central authority began to fray as the provincial nobility grew more ambitious. While the empire still appeared grand, internal strains were weakening the throne. The long reign of Pepi II, the 90-year reign of Pepi II, contributed to stagnation and a loss of royal control. As the king aged, his grip on distant provinces and their governors slipped significantly. Hereditary power nomarchs began passing their offices to their sons, creating local dynasties that rivaled the central government. This decentralization made the state vulnerable to environmental and external shocks. The spiritual crisis of drought, devastatingly low Nile floods, toward the end of the dynasty led to widespread famine and social unrest. Since the pharaoh's divinity was tied to the river's success, its failure was seen as a spiritual crisis. Environmental collapse, a regional drought around 2200 BCE, undermined the foundations of the Egyptian state. Food shortages shattered the social order and the authority of the centralized monarchy. The First Intermediate Period. The Old Kingdom eventually cracked under these pressures, ending national unity and dividing the two lands. Egypt entered the First Intermediate Period, a time of disorder and rival rulers competing for control. Resilience and rebirth. Though the mighty kingdom lay in fragments, the resilience of Egyptian culture remained. This endurance would eventually allow a new era of unity to rise from the ashes of the old. Discover more history by watching the next video. We're eager to share more with you. You can't go wrong. All our videos are deeply detailed, dull while fascinating, and distinctly sleep-inducing.